Good morning. I'm Matt Ellefson, founder and CEO of Survive It, and welcome to Fearless Friday. Today we have a special guest with us. His name is Anthony Wind with Savor Health. And Anthony has very impressive credentials. I'm going to let him speak for himself. Anthony, welcome today, and please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Matt, for having me. It's really an honor to be here. My name's Anthony Wind. I work full-time for Savor Health here in New York City. I'm the director of content here. I have a master's in both nutrition and exercise physiology from Columbia University, and I'm a registered dietitian.
You know, most people don't think that fitness and cancer go together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a common misconception. And why do you believe that cancer patients should have some kind of fitness routine, no matter what their level of physical activity is?
So it's funny, like in the past 10 years or so, cancer patients were told to not exercise, not lift heavy weights, not take it easy, lay in the bed, get some rest. And from my perspective, both from the science and anecdotally, that isn't the case at all. I think exercise gives cancer patients control at a time when they don't really have that control. Scientifically and based on the literature, exercise is shown to reduce side effects. It helps to reduce fatigue. It helps to, improve outlook and improve quality of life. And it also helps to improve, enhance lean body mass at a time when treatment is actually depriving you of that. So even for people who haven't exercised in the past, it's really important to, at this time, almost think like an athlete. You really need to get through this treatment and take control with exercise. I've worked with athletes as well, and I find a lot of comparisons between sports nutrition and nutrition for the cancer patient because of the way that they're recovering constantly. And it's really important to make sure that they're being fueled properly as well, so that they can have these positive benefits that exercise has been shown to have in the science.
I know from personal experiences myself that, when I was a younger teenager, I was a boxer. I was a fighter, and boxing is one sport that you need to train. You need to be physically prepared, or you get the crap beat out of you. That's kind of how I face cancer, the same way. When I want to be in condition, so when I'm in battle mode, I'm physically able to withstand the treatments and endure any hospital stay that I'm faced with. And I really feel it's important to build that lean muscle mass because, as you're well aware, a lot of patients end up not making it because of cachexia, which is losing your muscle mass and your muscle mass wasting away. And your body needs that. We need that physiologically to survive. So it's really important. It's important. I know I always have worked out. I continue to work out under treatment. And then when I am in remission, I even step it up more because now I'm in training mode for my next battle because I know it's just a matter of time. I'm going to have another recurrence with metastatic stage 4 cancer. You can only hold it off for so long, and I want to be ready for it. And that happens to be kind of the mode that I'm in right now is building muscle mass back up because I've lost it over the last year. It was a really difficult time for me. And now I've gotten to a point where I can get back in the gym and really focus on trying to build strength. Do you have any, for folks that are undergoing chemotherapy and they feel, really, really awful and sick some days, what's your suggestion for somebody like that?
When you get to that day and you're just not, you get up out of bed and you're not feeling right, you're not feeling good, and you're feeling sick, don't exercise. You don't have to. It's okay to go to that journal, write down exactly how you felt that day and why you didn't exercise so that you can look back at it and see how you've progressed in the future. But it's okay to miss a day. If you do feel as though you can move though, try it. Try doing a lap around the hall. Try walking up and down the stairs 1 or 2 times. Do some leg lifts in bed if you can. Just keeping in mind to avoid inactivity is really, really important, and using tools like journals and diaries and talking to your friends about it really helps you to be accountable, and also helps you to see the progress as you exit chemotherapy. When you exit that and you can see that, man, I feel better today and I can exercise, and man, look back at last Monday, I just couldn't do it, but this Monday I can do it. And seeing that progress is really helpful.
I know that when I was in chemotherapy and really had a dramatic toxic load, I learned which days I felt good and which days I was going to feel bad. The day directly after my chemotherapy, I still felt pretty good. So I would hit the gym hard. It was the second day when I would crash. So I planned for that day. I just slept most of the day. I needed the rest. My body crashed. And then day 3, I would get up and do another light workout and kind of work my way into it. I think one thing, at least for me, is if a patient has a mindset that knowing that we're killing off all of our cancer cells with the chemotherapy or with whatever treatment you're on, you're bombarding your body with toxins to kill cells. And unfortunately, they kill some healthy cells along the way. So we have to do everything that we can to rebuild those cells. We need to produce, not only do we need to kill cancer, we also need to promote wellness. We need to produce healthy cells. And the only way we can do that is by working with it a little bit.
Also, physiologically, when you're training like you are, during treatment, during chemotherapy, and replacing those cells and trying to replace those cells, when you're training both aerobically and resistance training, you're building capillary beds around the muscles, around the joints, and that blood vessel system is really helping to bring in nutrients to sustain those cells. So that's a really important benefit of exercise around the treatments and through the treatments, even on the worst days as well.
As great as our oncologists are, we need them, and they're great because they study oncology, they study cancer, and they don't even have enough time in their day to keep up with that. But they don't study nutrition. Sometimes you're not going to get the best advice from your oncologist on these types of things. So don't be afraid, though, to ask your oncologist to speak to a physical therapist or an occupational therapist. Every cancer center is going to have one or going to have access to one. And they can help you get started in a fitness program and provide you with some exercises you can do at home and show you how to do them correctly with the right form. What advice would you give them to try to determine, what time of day should I allocate and set out as sacred time for me to do my workouts?
Listen to your body, be very mindful. Mindfulness is so key in exercise, and it's so key during the day as well, because you're really thinking internally, and you're beginning to think, okay, if I was to go for a 20-minute walk now, how are my energy levels right now? Think about that and take note, and do that for a week or 2 even if you need it, and then go back and see how you feel retrospectively. Look at those notes and see, okay, in the morning time for the majority of days, I actually had a good amount of energy and I didn't have any appointments or anything like that. So I think that's a good time to really set aside for exercise, as you called it, that sacred time.
Sometimes it's hard to know when to listen to your body. And I know a lot of people, especially when the newly diagnosed patients that might have just started treatment and they're starting to feel these effects from the treatment, and you get a little bit scared. You wonder, is it okay if I push it, a little bit harder, or should I just lay down and rest? What's your best advice for patients like this?
It's important to talk to them and ask them the right questions. Ask them, what sorts of uncomfortable feelings are you having? Do you have nausea? Are you having, do you feel sick? On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do you feel at this point? And can I walk with you? Can we work on this together? If they decide to, then they're probably able to, once they get up, they're probably able to finish up a little walk or get something in. But if they're not able really to after prodding and pushing, if they're not able to get up, then it's probably best to let them go and then see how they feel later on in the afternoon. It's important to find out when during the day is best for the individual to exercise, because they could be consistently not feeling good in the morning, but the afternoons are okay. There's a clear. So that's when it's important to sort of individualize the process.
What resources do you recommend to your patients that you work with?
Well, so for those who are, so I'm going to start with, for those who are trying to get into the exercise realm and there's some challenges in front of them, I would recommend first off to contact the local YMCA. They have Livestrong programs where they have credentialed cancer exercise trainers that can work with people who might have challenges and aren't sure how to start exercising around those challenges. It's hard enough to start exercising alone, but if you have side effects or if you've just had a treatment, a surgery done, or you're on chemotherapy and you still want to exercise, you need to individualize it, and these people can do that. For the more scientific oriented people, I tell them to go look at Kieran Fairman, his podcast Reach, and he talks about the latest in the science of exercise and cancer. He talks to professionals all around the country. He's a doctoral student at Ohio State University, and it's his passion to work with cancer patients through exercise physiology.
Well, I would like to thank you so much, Anthony. You've been very informative today. You are obviously an expert in your field, and we're just honored to have you here today to get more fitness information out to those facing cancer. We're an organization of survivors helping patients, and survivors helping survivors, and caregivers helping caregivers. So please, if you have any questions at all about fitness, please reach out to us. You can reach out to us anytime with any questions at info@surviveit.org. And we can get those on to Anthony, and Anthony would be happy to answer those for you. We're going to continue this series on fitness as well as the other pillars of health. So thank you again, Anthony. We wish you all the best in everything you do. And on behalf of all of the survivors worldwide, thank you for what you do for people affected by cancer.
Thank you, Matt. I look forward to continuing our relationship and look forward to helping as many people as possible.
That's great. I'm Matt Ellefson. And as always, stay strong and live fearless.